Chicago Cubs are looking for that splash signing in the bullpen. Could it be Carlos Estévez? Yeah, you remember him from the Angels and the Phillies last year. High leverage guy, can close games, but would they put the money up for him? Miles Masterboni finds a new major league home. Cubs have traded him, and the Cubs signed one of my favorite minor leaguers, Caleb Knight. I'm going to tell you what the catcher brings to the table. All that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you guys for being here, and let's get the party started. Go Cubs! What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel. And again, appreciate all of you guys for being here. All right, let's start with Carlos Estévez. Is this the guy that the Cubs are looking for to help bail out the back end of the bullpen? Now, I know Porter Hodge did a nice job closing games at the end of last season when the Cubs were having some success, but I still feel like the Cubs need that dominant bullpen present. And a lot of experts say, hey, maybe Tanner Scott, the left-hander with the Padres that's available, might be the guy that could help the Cubs. But what about Carlos Estévez, a 2023 All-Star? Remember, he was with the Angels and then went to the Phillies and ended up having a pretty good finish to the season. Estevez is 32 years old and had a 2.45 ERA in 55 innings last year. And, he's someone that, you feel comfortable with. He brings a lot of intensity to the table, but the Mets are after him. I've heard that the Cubs are after him and read that according to Bleacher Report. So who knows what's really going on behind the scenes, but this would make sense for the Cubs. You can get him 3 years, $42 million, $40 million contract, somewhere in that neighborhood. And this could be the answer to some of the Cubs' issues as far as that bullpen goes, because someone's going to have to go out there and close games out. So he ended up last year with 20 saves for the Angels, 6 more for the Phillies. So he had 26 saves last year, finished 47 games, and had a 2.45 ERA. We mentioned that just a second ago, and had a strikeout about per inning, 55 innings, 50 strikeouts between the two teams. And for someone that can come in and pitch in those big spots, he's more affordable than some of the other options out there. And then you say, well, what does he bring to the table? He's got a four-seam fastball, throws that a ton, right? So he's going to throw that pitch up in the zone. He throws a slider a lot as well, but four-seamer is by far the pitch he uses the most. Then the slider, then the changeup, has a sinker, a cutter, and occasionally will throw a curveball. But, last year he was more four-seam fastball, slider, changeup, curveball, right? And so he's experimented with stuff over his career. It's not like he comes in and is, one of these overpowering guys. But with that said, he can get the velocity up there pretty good, right? He's touched right at 100 miles an hour last year with the four-seamer. And what I really like about him is he's a fearless guy. He just gives you that fearless presence on the mound. Like, hey, I'm coming in the game and I'm going right at you. Let's see what you can do. And whether you can hit me or not. We had one of Catfish's favorite last year, and it was good having him on the show yesterday, Heart Attack Hector Neris. And, every time Neris would come in to close the game, I have to hide under the couch. I can't even watch. It's so painful. Sometimes he'd get the job done, and then other times we would watch our lead disintegrate and the season with it, right? No, I'm just kidding. Catfish doesn't like Heart Attack Hector. But maybe Estevez for the money, and like I said, 40+ million for 3 years. The Cubs could afford that. They haven't spent a lot so far this offseason. So we'll see if that happens to be the deal. But watch for the Mets. The Mets are hard in on him. And maybe by the time you watch this, he ends up with the Mets. But it was just interesting to see that the Cubs name popped up for this guy because, to me, I feel like for this team to really be ready to go out and compete, they need a legitimate closer, and maybe he's the guy. Now, a couple other things that were worth talking about. Miles Masterboni was officially traded, and he is going to the Seattle Mariners. Okay, So that's where his career is going to go on from there. I do wish him the best of luck. Wasn't the biggest Masterboni fan, but I got to tell you, the way that he played the game made me appreciate the effort that he would give you. Plus, he can run the bases. You can put him at third. You can put him at shortstop. You can put him at second base. You can put him in the outfield. Not great in any of the positions, but he's good enough. And so the Mariners, who were rumored to be interested in Nico Horner, don't get Nico, at least not now, but they do get Miles Masterboni. And this is for cash. So the Cubs will get cash back from the Mariners. Who knows how much cash that is, but that's what the deal is. And then finally, this is a guy who it flies under the radar, but I really like him. He's a 29-year-old catcher named Caleb Knight. This is a future manager, maybe a future big league manager. He's got a great head on his shoulders. Smart guy, likable guy. He'll do whatever the Cubs organization asks him to do. You get catching depth in there as well. But when I saw that the Cubs re-signed him, I thought, you know what? This is really a good signing for them. Look, I get it. Moises Ballesteros, Pablo Aliendo are the two closest to the big league Cubs catching options that they've developed in their organization. Casey Opitz, saw him last year, good defender. There's some other guys that are kind of in that mix too. But Caleb Knight is one of these guys who they'll say, hey, you're going to A ball for a week, and then you're going to double A, and you're going to triple A. And when he's there, it's like adding another coach to the team. These are unsung heroes, but these are guys that are helping your organization prepare players to be big leaguers. And like I said, this is a guy who I feel like one day, if he doesn't make it as a catcher in the major leagues, and it's still a pretty, tall task for him and a lot of these minor league guys, he still has, I think, a big league career ahead. And it may be as an instructor, maybe as a coach, maybe as a manager, but he's a special person, and it's good for the Cubs to appreciate what he brings to the table and have him come back. And that's just a high of a compliment as I could give a guy in the minor leagues, just being around it for as long as I have. When you see special people that make the players around them better, that care about the organization, that bust their humps, when maybe it doesn't necessarily get them a step closer to the big leagues, but it helps other people, you got to appreciate those guys. So, he's coming back, and he's definitely someone that the Cubs are really glad to have, and someone that will help the organization get better. So he'll make the organization better by being a part of it. All right, that does it for the show. Guys, get in the comment section. Appreciate all of you for being part of what we do here on a daily basis. Love to hear your interactions. We gave some honest opinions. Disappointed that the Cubs were not in the mix when it really came down to it for Sasaki. I think he's going to end up with the Dodgers like everyone else. And we talked about it on the show yesterday, and I stand by this. The Cubs got to do something to make the brand better again, because it just doesn't feel like the cool brand. And you lose out on guys like this because they're going to want to go where the cool brand is. I mean, when you're not getting paid the money that you deserve, and that's just the way that the collective bargaining agreement works out for international players that, are young, like Sasaki, you pick the coolest place. You want to be around the Otanis, and you want to be around the World Series champions, and you're going to be swayed by the Yamamotos. Now, is it official yet that he's going to the Dodgers? No, but boy, it feels like it to me that he'll be with the Dodgers. But when the Cubs were building to their World Series championship team, you could feel that players wanted to be around it. They wanted to be part of it, and the Cubs got to get back to that, or it's going to continue to be one of those situations where, the team isn't doing very well, or we're kind of on the outside looking in. But thanks for hanging out. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you for making the channel what it is. And I'm so proud of where we've come from, where we've started to where we are right now. And we're going to continue to throw content out every day. Go Cubs.